Nerds International proudly presents.
Sorry, let's do that first. Right. Coming at you live from Caesar's Palace in Vegas, it's me, Nick Lambslice.
Me, James Pumpkin.
And me, Harrison Hunt, aka your host for the evening.
And collectively, we are the Tabletop Twats.
It's beginning to look a lot like fishmen everywhere I go. From the minute I got to town and started to look around, I thought these ill-bred people's gill slits showed. I'm beginning to hear a lot of fishmen right outside.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and this bed of royalty-free music you can hear is because it's Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, what a festive feeling it is today. And in case you couldn't tell, this is an RPG show all about tabletop RPGs. And as a result, we've got a bloody good show for you today, ladies and gentlemen. We've got What You've Been Slaying. We've got all the other features, which are the main subject, which is going to be the 3T RPG Awards 2018.
Yes, it's back.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
What, Ric Flair over there?
We got the Electro Letters, where we're going to talk about your best and worst gaming memories of this year. And of course, before all of that, we're going to get into some feedback for previous episodes. But before we do all of that, ladies and gentlemen, it's Christmas, so we're going to exchange some gifts live on air. Technically not live. Technically not live.
We are going to exchange gifts.
No, it's recorded live.
Recorded live. Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Well, yeah, we are in the same room.
Yeah, it's true.
This isn't rehearsed, despite how polished it seems.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
how
rehearsed.
Seamless this production is.
I know.
Nah.
This some people have said that the lines and the jokes we come out on here, like, it's equivalent to sort of like The Odd Couple and such great comedies, but actually no.
No, it's not.
So gift-wise, who wants to go first? Because I'm going to go last.
I'll go first.
Oh!
Look at these little boxes.
So Nick has given us like these.
He's given us a little box.
A little box. It's got glitter on the top. Can I open it now?
You can open it now.
I've opened it up. There's tissue paper inside.
Oh my God! I've got the same. I've got tissue paper. Oh, you shouldn't have.
So inside, Nick, what dice would you call these? He's given us some dice.
Well, these dice, believe it or not, as normal as they look, are actually also glow-in-the-dark dice.
Wow.
Yes, they glow-in-the-dark really well. Apparently, I haven't tried them out yet. But yeah, you might need to charge them. But they're.
I think we need to charge these.
You can, if you want to swap colours, you can.
So these are like half and half, green and black, lovely dice. Good weight to them.
Good weight to them.
These are lovely, Nick. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mine are half and half blue and black.
Yeah, and when they glow, I think all the blue glows on yours, and it almost looks like a mist going through. Right. And the same with yours. All the green parts will glow up, and
I've
it looks
charged it slightly.
Yeah.
I'll look in the box. I can't see. I can't see anything.
Right, it needs to be charged. But I've been assured they're glow-in-the-dark dice.
Let's hope you haven't been scammed. But also, we've got some Lindt chocolate balls.
Yes, have some chocolate balls. Have some chocolate Christmas chocolate balls.
Thank you so much, Nick.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
that.
You're
welcome.
Wonderful gift.
Obviously, that means me next, so I'll go get them.
All right, so James has now given us a bag which has pictures of reindeer on them.
Yes.
And inside
the bag.
Box. I'm opening it now. The box. I can't tell from the box. This is heavy.
Wicked. I have got a Lego bound book. That's so cool. Oh my God.
Is it Lego bound?
It's Lego bound. It's lovely. What you got? Whoa.
Whoa.
Lovely. Thank you,
look at this. I've got an amazing metal chest.
That is really cool.
With a kind of felt inside.
Ooh.
This is incredible.
Yeah, put thy new dice inside.
I'm going to put thy new dice inside that right the fuck now. There we go.
Look at that.
I just poured them in. Look at that.
Look at that.
I feel like a king.
That's right. We'll take some pictures.
And we will post them online
with the thing as well.
So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
As for your gifts,
you guys can open these simultaneously. These are wrapped in blue.
Look at this wrapping. Is this you? Did you wrap this?
Fuck no. I got my wife to wrap it.
Hey, the wife did it. The wife.
Oh yeah.
Is it what I think it is?
Yes,
it is. Excellent.
So basically, yeah, for Christmas this year, I pretty much got everyone in my gaming group the same thing. I got them all Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Reason being is because I want to run this soon, and it's obviously much, much better if everyone at the table has the same book. And my wife was like, "Oh, you can't give everyone the same thing." And I'm like, "No, it's good if everyone at the table has the same book, because then we can all reference it. If you're a spellcaster, you've got all your spells in front of you,
And it's small.
and it's a small book as well. It's a fucking awesome book, Lamentations of the Flame Princess, and I knew you guys would appreciate it. So
That's really cool, man.
yeah, there you go.
I love it. Thank
you so much.
Yes. Look at the art. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Seen a set of boobs already.
Yeah. Oh, there's boobs in it,
There's
mate.
boobs
There's
galore.
boobs galore. And you know,
Wait a second, caveat. It's tasteful though.
Tasteful boobs.
it's
What do
tasteful
you think?
boobs.
What boobs ain't tasteful?
Well, this ain't hentai, is it?
Bad boobs, Nick. Bad boobs.
This
Yeah.
is brilliant. Thank you very much. I've heard a lot about this.
Oh yeah, James and I are in love with this game.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
anyway, with that, enough of that gooey show of emotion. Let's get on to some feedback.
Yes.
The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback section. The feedback section.
All right, so feedback. Dan Cook starts off actually talking about our love for Lamentations of the Flame Princess, which we mentioned on our last episode. And he says, "So awesome to hear love for Lamentations. I've only played it once, but it's so often written off as obscene by players and not given credit for being a good dark fantasy."
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. The thing about this is that some of the adventures and some of the content of Lamentations, it is obscene, right? Mm-hmm. But it's good obscene. It's not. It's just adult role playing, and it's not obscene for the sake of it. We're not talking about Justin Soroy's Beneath here. We're talking this is content for adults. It's 18 plus. It's shocking, but
It's got the warning on the front.
Yeah, and
you
it's-
don't go to a horror film and expect roses and sunshine.
exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's Lamentations for you. So I love it. I absolutely love it. And next up,
brilliant.
next feedback comes in from
Daniel Irwin, who's talking about the Grammar World game that you two played. And he says, "Who the fuck shows people pictures of an anus?" Oh, wait, sure it wasn't Byron Hall running the game?
that is a very
Oh
very
my God.
sadly it wasn't. I'd like to play a game with Byron Hall,
So would
writer of Fatal. Just ask him a few questions like, who the fuck do you think you are?
man.
I'd like to play a game of Russian roulette, but then put all the bullets in the gun and give it to him first.
What, not tell him? Oh, it's definitely one in there. Definitely one. Oh, unlucky.
Don't check it, mate. Don't check it. It'll be all right.
Take my word for it. There's definitely one bullet in there. Next up.
We got Sid Andrews, who's talking about Ravenlord, and said, "I started listening to this one day at lunch. Why is it so damn good?"
I ask myself that question
Do you think
every
is
time.
it definitely written in a way where he would be shouting?
Yeah, it's all caps.
all caps.
All caps.
He went mad caps.
And then he goes on and says, "Seriously, your production value of the actual plays is foot and tops."
Foot and tops.
He means fucking tops. By
Yeah,
the way.
but I'm just reading as it read.
Oh, foot and
It's
like foot and tops, mate.
Foot and tops.
It's foot and tops.
He's from Bristol.
Yeah, he is from Bristol. Sid, thank you very much. We're very glad that you enjoyed it. Harrison puts a lot of hard work into putting it together, so it's nice to see that it's appreciated.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I appreciate that very much. And with that, let's get on to what we've been playing.
Oh.
In What You Slaying.
What are you saying?
Oi! Yeah? What you slaying?
All right, so first up, we last week had our kind of Christmas party for our gaming group, and we started off by playing Whacked in the Wicket.
Oh yes.
Now, what is Whacked in the Wicket, Nickit?
No idea, mate. So, Whacked in the Wicket. Were you allowed to talk about this then?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Sweet. Whacked in the Wicket is a very exciting opportunity that myself was given by Harrison and Just Insert Imagination to write a sequel to the infamous Punted in the Bonds. We got to work and we put it together, and we got to a point where it was pretty much done, and we were happy to run it for our mates as a dual GM situation.
So this is an adventure where you play as posh people from Chelsea, which is a posh area in London, and you have to do an art heist.
Yeah.
To nick in a painting from a National Gallery, the National Gallery, I should say. And we decided, because Nick and I co-wrote it together, and it's being published soon by Just Insert Imagination. We decided to dual GM it, and both of us stood behind the screen. Both of us did voices for the NPCs. We came up with a way kind of like to communicate without speaking to each other. We
Yeah.
had a little sheet that we pointed to with different things written on it, such as ramp up the stupid, be deadly, move them along,
Move
things
them
like
along,
this.
yep. Take the lead, stuff like this.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like, we don't want to spoil too much of the adventure, but just to give an early example, there was a point where they were looking for a way into the gallery, and all of the guys put their heads together and they're like, should we perhaps ask some hoodlums?
Some hoodlums, some local hoodlums might help us.
Yeah, and Nick and I started playing the hoodlums, and we were like, yeah, blood, we know a way in, innit?
We get you in, innit?
And I wrote down quickly on a bit of paper behind the screen, they'll only give them the information if the posh guys give them 20 quid.
Yeah.
And then so we're like, yeah, give us some cash, blood. And me and Nick were just bouncing off each other, playing the NPCs, and it was really, really fun.
Was good
the
fun.
way it worked out, especially the dual GMing thing really worked because the game flow is never interrupted.
Not at all, no.
I was preparing stuff, and then as soon as the battle went, the preparation was already done, and Nick was GMing,
Yeah.
and then we'd switch up, and it went
It was fun.
spectacularly.
I think the dual GM model does work. It was our first experience of it, and I was a little bit like, oh, is it going to work out and stuff? But I definitely think you both need to know the game you're running inside out, and you've got to have that kind of natural understanding of when someone's going to take the lead, or do what we did and use a nice little cheat sheet behind the screen. But it was cracking. I loved it. I'll definitely do it again.
Well, as the player of it, firstly, I was excited because well, it was amazing. We heard about it at our table, and then as soon as we got to play it, we were super excited. Nick and Harrison put on an amazing show with their dual GMing, and like Harrison said, nothing was interrupted. Each one, even toilet trips, there's no game pausing at all. It was just bang, and it was just constant and consistent. And yeah, as both of them wrote it, knowing the game inside out, it was perfect synergy. It was fucking flawless.
Thank you.
It was so excellent, and we were like so made up when we finished it. We all like gave a round of applause.
Oh, we were as
Not
well.
only that, but these two motherfuckers dressed up like posh dicks.
Oh yeah, we had
because
to,
so
and we popped out the Buck Fizz halfway through.
Yeah, we had a little bottle of cheap bubbly as well. And there was a bit during the game where they beat up a security guard. No, it wasn't a security guard. It was a bunch of dancers that had been allowed to use...
Interpretive dancers.
Yeah, interpretive dancers that had been allowed to use the theatre.
You can't interrupt art!
Yeah, and they were like, you cannot fight art! And they've been allowed to use the gallery light after hours, right?
Ooh.
They beat the fuck out of them and then rummage through their bags. And I'm like, you find a bottle of bubbly, and then I'll burst it out from beneath the table.
Oh, it's
Pulled all
cracking.
these guys bubbly. And we had bennies, which are kind of like reroll tokens in Savage Worlds. And all the bennies, we bought some corks, off of Amazon and used those as the bennies. We had a big map for the final encounter.
that was awesome.
It was really fun.
It was
and I
really
made
fun.
little minis of all the faces of the people.
Oh,
And they're
little
based
papers,
on kind of based on real world people like Richard Fulford, David Cameron, Charles Campion. So they're all based on kind of semi-based on real people. So we had all of their little faces on the table. It was fucking funny, man.
So much fun. It was one of my favourite games ever.
Oh man, it was so much fun,
good.
and seeing these guys having to play poshos as well was hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially my brother playing. His name's
Dicky.
Dickie Fulford in the game. And the funny, because he's so posh he can barely speak. That's one of his hindrances, and he was just like. One of the highlights was him trying to buy a bottle of whiskey from a shop, but me and Nick were playing these two Indian shopkeepers that were just trying to coerce him into buying this like cheap chocolate they bought, like knockoff chocolate.
Well out of date. Yeah.
It was like,
You want chump?
Yeah, you want to buy chump? You want to buy chump? And Sean was like, I don't know, you want to buy chump?
Chump,
No,
lots of chump.
No, chump. And then Sean's like, yes, I'll take the chump. He ends up spending his last 50p on a chump
It's
instead
so
of the bottle
good.
of whiskey that he wanted.
Yep.
It's like, how were you planning to get whiskey with 50p anyway?
50p in his pocket. And I think he got it for 10p, so he's like, I have 40p later on, didn't he? He's trying to buy something else with 40p.
Oh man, it was so tragic.
It was so good though. And
Yeah, it was a great game.
It really
and,
was.
On that same day, we ended up playing Daring Tales of the Space Lanes, hosted by Peter as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
He really fucked us over with this one. No,
motherfucker.
it was a great game, but what ended up happening was, and we'll keep this one brief, but essentially you go to an ice planet, you're supposed to blow up this old mining company because this guy's been fucked over, and the best line was when the guy was giving us the mission, he's like, they ruined my life, ruin my mind. And then we started singing Papa Roach. We're like, ruin my life, ruin my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. And then, so we go there, we tried to blow up the mine. Turns out there's this big monster in there. It's kind of like Alien, right?
Yeah.
And what happened was we were trying to get away. I kept on fucking rolling ones on my like scooter, which is like called the Scooty Puff Junior. It's like
Puff
this
Junior.
like space scooter thing. Kept on digging into the snow. The monster chases us. 2 of us die. Like we realised we were severely underleveled to even fight the bloody monster.
Yeah.
So we ended up shooting ourselves in the head
we committed suicide.
because
Didn't we?
one guy died. Then we realised with any less than 3 of us, like this thing had a toughness of 18. We didn't have weapons even close enough to even fight this thing.
No.
And so I shot myself in the head to try and sacrifice myself so it would eat me, and then you would be able to get away because Nick was the captain, right? And I just thought I'll sacrifice myself so she can get away, so that at least then there'll be a happy ending. Then the monster just scoops me up in one and continues the chase.
Yeah.
Nick like was just like, all right, well I'm fucked then, and then shoots himself in the head as well, and then that was it. It was just like, oh man, it was such a tragic ending because we bombed the place, we did all right. One guy died in the process, but we did all right, and then we were just like, oh, I guess we're screwed then.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Cheers, buddy.
And the very last game we played on that day was Fallout, and it was Minefield, which was a absolute corker of a game. It was the Megaton Guard had heard about all of these people that had been kidnapped, was it?
Yeah.
They got kidnapped by these cultists who worship mines in a town called Minefield.
Yeah.
And we had to go and rescue them. Now, we're the Megaton Guard, but the leader of the guard was Gary Busey, and he's a absolute nutter. He does believe...
character, yeah.
Yeah, he's nuts. And he does believe in... like good eventually, but he's the epitome of chaotic good.
Yeah.
And
Busey bullet.
so there was a technique I kept on using. The final battle was amazing.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was madness.
All it was there was us, the town, and on the other side was a sniper who was a crack shot.
Yep.
But between us and him was a minefield,
Yep.
and that was it.
Oh,
that was the
man.
battle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so atmospheric and so cool.
It makes it terrifying because you're being shot by this sniper, but then you've also got to be conscious of your movement because any move you make, you could blow up. So it was like these two kind of dangers going on at the same time. And it made it really, really tense, didn't it?
Yeah, so you either have to move slow and carefully or move fast and risk the damage.
Mm-hmm.
And because Busey's an absolute nutter and with no regards for his own personal safety, I would look for mines, then jump on them to give me a boost. And Sean was like, you could die instantly. And I'm like, yep.
Busey, mate. Come on.
Yeah, that's Busey.
That's Busey
and
for
what
you.
kept on happening is I did it twice and he jumped on a mine. I took like almost the lowest amount of damage I could, but then used the blast from the mine to propel me forward. And I would like take a little bit from the full damage, but I would be like, yeah.
So worth it. He's just
And
like,
so
whee!
what ended up happening was it's like I bounced off a mine and then grabbed onto the window
Oh
and
my
smashed him in the
God.
face with my sledgehammer. And he was like, boing!
It was so good. Busey was just a nut.
Yeah, it was such a good session. There was a bit where we were fighting super mutants, and we were all hiding in a car while James, our only super mutant, got out. Do you remember James?
Yeah.
He tried to bargain with him, but he's a super mutant that has a tiny voice.
Yeah, I played him like he had a really shit voice. There was this hulking mess. And he's like, my brothers. I was like, hello guys. How's it going?
And then we
We're
were
like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm just out. My fellow brothers scavenging.
and we were all hid down in this car while he was bargaining. And when the bargaining went badly, I just tried to pelt the car forward. But the front just got smashed in. One of them just like punched into it like Hellboy from the first
We killed him,
movie.
though, didn't we, in the end?
Oh yeah, we did.
didn't
We
we?
managed
Yeah,
to
we
kill
fucked
them
them
off.
up.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it James just started like hurling grenades
That's
like a
it,
mad
grenades, yeah.
motherfucker.
Blew him to
He
shit,
was like,
yeah.
hang on, I've got 3 grenades. 1, 2, 3, boom!
Bye.
Mutant soup.
It was really good, yeah.
was good.
Mutant soup all over the place. So another thing I wanted to speak about was my D&D 5e game. I've been playing it for like 5 weeks now. It's not my game. I've been playing in a 5e game. Only thing is that I've been hesitant to speak about it on this podcast because I didn't really want to give my feelings of it straight away and kind of dismiss it because I haven't been necessarily that into it. I've been enjoying like just playing an RPG, do you know what I mean? But haven't been really that into it. And I'll try to keep this brief, but I didn't want to just be like, no, it's shit straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So I left the group.
Yeah, and we want to know why, because he teased us the other day on the group thread saying, "Oh yes, I've left my 5e group," and everyone's like, "Why?" And he's like, "I can't tell you."
I'll discuss it on the
pod.
Yeah, I just put underneath it. I just put soon.
Yeah, and the anticipation's been killing me. What's happened? What have you done?
Look, some incidents occurred
Yeah, I was gonna
that were
say.
beyond my control.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
No, basically, I just don't think the game's for me, right?
Okay.
So, one of the things I like about fantasy role-playing games, right, is when they encourage teamwork. And
Yeah.
I don't think... See, that's part of the reason that I got a bit fed up with Pathfinder, is that they empower every character, and all of them are roughly the same, and every character is like now a beefcake. Pathfinder's not as bad for that. It's not as bad, but eventually everyone reaches the same power level. And in 5e, man, as soon as you hit 3rd level, it's like, hey, here's 5,000 abilities for every character.
Wow.
Every character's a beefcake.
Turns into a computer game.
I'm a bard.
Yeah.
And I'm the tank of the group, right?
Yeah.
I ain't even joking,
With
right?
your battle sacks.
Yeah, it's a tuba, but so I've got a tuba, and I'm the tank of the group, right? And it's crazy because you can't die in that game,
No.
unless everything gangs up on you. Also, the DM hates you. Also, they roll massive damage. You don't die.
All the moons align on one night. That's the only time you can die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it must have been boring then.
It was boring because there was never any risk. There was cool stuff happening constantly. The adventures that were happening were great, and the stuff that he ran us through, honestly, it was awesome, and his description was great.
And the
But
DM was cracking, wasn't he?
he was amazing.
Yeah.
But you always knew at the back of your mind, there's no risk. I know I ain't
Right.
going to die. And every character is just as powerful as the last.
Uh-huh.
So point is there's no point in teamwork.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no point in teaming up on anything.
I got this one, guys. And then you just walk off and take the monster on by
Yeah.
yourself.
And
It's
also,
like, no, guys, I'll give it a go.
yeah, I'll
it
do it.
always seemed as well that we were being forced to get into fights because that's how you get XP. And I'm fairly certain, I remember somebody mentioning that there's alternate ways of doing XP in the game, and of course there is, but it seemed like, I'll give you an example. There was one time where we were going round these river pirates, right? And I literally, as a bard, blagged my way past them, right? I literally just was like, I went up and I went, "Arr, yo, I be looking for work down these parts. So I hear about this guy called Gurr, who was their boss." And I was like, "Any chance of joining up?" They looked at me like I was kind of a weirdo because I'm holding a tube, and they're like, "Yeah, just go down that way. I believe he has a ship docked
guess,
over there."
yeah.
There was way more to it than
Yeah.
that, honestly, but it was kind of like that. And I was just like, I got us past. Everyone else was hiding in the bushes. I got us past. And then one of the other players at the table was just like, "What? You mean I want to see their blood on a spike pike? Oh, killing, blah, blah, blah." And I was just like, oh, they're just going to start killing them, aren't they? So I just turned around as soon as they weren't looking and started attacking them. Because I was just like,
I know what's going to happen here.
I know what's going to happen. We're going to fight. I've got an advantage now. Fuck it. Let's just start fighting.
That's a shame, because you could have had fun there with like the old
We could have just got-
espionage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we could have just got past them. And the whole thing always just evolved into fighting.
Haven't you got someone there's someone at the group that just wanted to tear up as well, constantly wanted to tear
Yep,
up?
that's it. And he and his character was literally just like, "I will never let anyone run from a fight," and that was basically like most of the characters.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole thing was just it was a hack and slash game.
Yeah.
And I ain't got a problem with that
Nah.
because it actually was quite fun.
But week in, week out.
Week in, week out, and in addition to that, it was a lot of casual role players, so it wasn't role play heavy, which again ain't that much of a problem. But most of them, like, it was a mix of young and old.
Yeah.
And the young people consistently talked over the game all the time.
yeah.
And that ain't a problem with 5e. But going back to what my problems with 5e are. Every character has too many abilities, making it complicated for new players, which I don't give a fuck what people say. That is a fact. Second of all, it is like just, it's so easy. It's
Right.
so easy. And there is, it's also fucking expensive. Really, really fucking expensive. I wanted to buy the player's handbook. I was like, nope.
How much?
You can get it for about 25 quid, but that's for
For a
half the fucking
for a
book.
handbook?
And if you want to run it, you also need the DM's guide and the monster manual as well, and probably a DM screen.
So you're looking at 100 quid just to play the game.
Easily. And I also felt like it really, really lacks character as well. In an effort to make it appeal to everyone, every type of person from every walk of life. What they've done is the game kind of, it lacks any real character. It's like a game designed by committee. You know, it's a very corporate feeling game.
And I hate that. My biggest draw to role playing is the role playing, the character depth. You know, characters building up, the party having this synergy, this kind of joint bond. And if you ain't got none of that, then
like, you know how DCC has this really 70s feel, and all the artwork is like proper 70s, and it's got like really sort of like powerful black women, like men wearing like big fucking trousers.
Huge
do you know what I mean?
Boots and stuff.
And it's got proper like metal type feel to it. Like okay, that ain't gonna appeal to everyone, right? But my point about it is that like that's really 70s, but it's got character.
Of course.
Whereas D&D, it looks like
soulless.
If I typed in fantasy artwork on Google Images, that's what D&D looks like.
Right,
and it's boring, man.
Generic, soulless.
And that is exactly what it feels like to play.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the D&D 5e, everybody.
I will play it one day, but again, I think I might delay it. Anyway, enough about that.
Enough about that. Yeah, so I messaged the DM and I just said, look, this ain't for me. When you run a new game, let me know.
Fair play.
And Savage Worlds Adventure Edition came out.
Woo!
Well, hey, that is bloody improved, let me tell you that. I played 2 sessions of it.
Yeah.
Lot of really great new additions to it, but we're going to do an episode on that soon. But let me tell you guys, if you get a chance to have a look at it somehow, then please do, because bloody hell, they've improved that book. It looks incredible.
And it's still having some improvements.
It is, yeah. I think that's good. I mean, I'm glad they dropped the PDF early so it can go to the community. The community can get a feel for it and come back with what they think. Because I think as a game designer, you can never kind of allow for every eventuality. So, you know, you produce something, you think it's okay, and then obviously some of the cracks start showing. So, it's still going through a change process, but so far so good.
Yeah, I'm really liking the new changes to the rules so far. With the mission of 1, where they've kind of put a thing from Genesis, kind of where it's like influencing the story with a Benny.
Oh, right.
And it really depends on the type of game and the tone of the game, because you can now go, you can use a Benny, which is usually like a reroll token in most circumstances, but what you can do now is say, okay, I want to influence the story in some way. I want to have a flashback to get an item, or I want an unimportant NPC to become a friend, or I want the story to change in this way, and you do that by spending a Benny. Okay, it with the GM, and then that's that.
But the GM still gets the final say.
Exactly.
Okay,
so that's the important part.
And is that
I guess.
that's a set in stone rule? That's not an optional
rule. It is
rule.
a set in stone rule.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so look out for that. We're going to probably do a whole episode on it, so that's why I'm not talking about it in depth.
Absolutely.
And we've also been playing Gen Lab Alpha.
Yay!
So this game we talked about in a previous episode, but we've been playing animals in it's basically a big lab, but it's kind of an outdoor lab
/ prison. Yeah.
/ prison called Paradise, where you're watched over by Watchers, the Nightmare Machines.
Yeah.
And you're half human, half animal hybrids. And we're part of a resistance, essentially trying to do missions to make our life better and
fight
hopefully
back against the oppressors. Yeah,
and hopefully get out one day.
Get out of there. Yeah.
That's essentially it, really. But what I wanted to talk about was an incident that happened at the game, which we're going to call Chimley Gate.
Oh no.
So what happened is that somebody, one of the characters in the team, this character called Wolfgang, was trying to jump up on the roof, then slide down a chimney, very Christmassy. But what he kept on saying the word chimley instead of chimney, right? But it was like, we discussed it on the car on the way home. It was like he was saying it on purpose.
Yeah,
he definitely fucking was. He definitely fucking was, right? And then I was saying, as soon as he said it once, he went, "Yeah, I'm gonna go down the chimney." And then we all of us piped up at the same time.
The chimney.
And we were like, Ryan, what are you talking about? It's chimney, you fucking idiot.
Chimney. And I went chimney, chim. That's how you pronounce it. Chimney.
And he said, that's what I said.
Yeah, and he was like, no, that's what I said. And he was like, and then Ryan kept on saying it over and over again. He kept on saying chimley, and then looking at the whole table like as if he's trying to wind us up. And then we had this.
No, he weren't sure if he was saying it right or not, because he had forgotten in his own brain what was right and what was wrong.
Hello, it's the chimley police. And then what happened is that then we had this big discussion about it. Like Ryan, it's chimney, mate. And James corrected him. And then we're like, anyway, let's get on with the game. And then Ryan turned to Nick and he went, right, I go down the chimney. And then it's like, Ryan! What are you doing? I literally was just like, Ryan, you know it's chimney now. Why did you just pronounce it wrong? And he was like, all right, fucking leave it out, mate. And started getting actually angry about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, leave it out, mate, because fucking it was funny 10 minutes ago. And started getting angry.
Yep.
But like, we talked in the car and we were like, no, he was definitely saying it to wind us up.
I swear he was.
He was.
Because I googled it, right, just to physically show him a chimney, yeah, with the correct spelling of it. And then he looked at me and went, James, if you don't get that fucking thing out of my face, I feel like I'm going to throw it.
He was
like,
getting
I'm really fucking
really
pissed off.
angry.
And I was so confused.
I'd seen him like that for a long time.
I was just like, holy shit, man. I did not realise you were actually pissed off. I thought you were just like doing his normal wind-up
I reckon when he got back to his flat, he punched the wall. He was so mad.
Yeah, but the thing is, it did seem it did seem like he was trying to wind us up, didn't it, James?
No, it did. And sorry, we misunderstood, but if more than one person thought the same thing, you know what I mean?
No, all of us except for
It's a Croydon Red Hill thing, all right?
except for Nick and Ryan, thought that he was trying to wind us up. In the car, James and Pete were also like, yeah, Ryan was definitely trying to wind you up. But then as soon as like we got wound up, he was like, fuck you guys.
You know what the funny thing is that it's a shame because it was Ryan and he got pissed off, but Nick shared the same mistake. Nick knows it or has known it his whole life as Chimley as well. So
I can't believe it.
So Nick and Ryan say Chimley and then
Chimney.
Yeah. Hey, well done.
Hey, there we go.
Hey,
See, at least one of us can improve.
He's. So we have Croydonisms.
Yeah, so instead of his, Nick says he's, and apparently instead of chimney, they say chimley. I nearly fucked it up just
And
then.
instead of height, I say hype sometimes by accident. But Frank Lampard said that once on an interview, and I was like, oh yeah, it must be a thick person's thing.
yeah, that's what it is. It's when you're common as muck.
Yeah, that's it.
So that was
my
it.
dad.
So that was sort of like the highlight of the game.
Yeah, that was the best part of the
and
game.
As we were leaving, like Ryan sort of calmed down, realised what he was getting angry about, and we were leaving.
He couldn't stop apologising.
And he was like, "Oh my god, I feel so stupid. I'm sorry, Harrison. I'm sorry. I just got annoyed about Chimley."
He apologised to everyone.
But apart from that, it was a good game. The crew we lost someone, unfortunately, game before last. Someone died. It's quite brutal, mutant, but they're carrying on their mission, and they are at their. They've got to the crying shack.
Yeah, we're getting to the crying shack, which is where we believe certain animals are being taken before they're experimented on, and we're looking for somebody who has a part of a device that we need. So we've been tracking them down, and on the way we lost somebody, and that was emotional.
Yes.
And then we did some hallucinogenic drugs and saw each other's backstories.
Yes.
And that was one of the most emotional moments in
my
gaming
God.
I've ever had.
Oh my god.
We were literally seeing each other's backstories, and it was like before all of our characters didn't really connect with each other, and then we saw why everyone was involved in the resistance.
was so fun.
And then all of us sort of snapped to sitting around this fire, and we're just like,
just woke up sobbing.
all of us were just crying around this fire.
Well, we was going to do it was a little bit of downtime before they went to sleep to read, to heal up and stuff, and it was like dead of night and that, and it was all around the fireplace. And then Harrison's character Dumas, this giant hulking moose, was going to do some hallucinogenics and do a sweat lodge to try and get a vision. And I thought it'd be fun if we had a vision for all the players. So we did that, and it was cool. Yeah, it was fun.
That was amazing. It was like, it's quite an emotional game, this Gen Lab. Considering
it is,
you play animals, it's weird how deep and involving it gets. It's weird, isn't it?
It's good. Yeah.
But then that's the game. It's funny. It's like my mate Eric said recently. He said that if you give people a game that has kind of in air quotes silly premise, people will take it seriously. If you give people a serious game, they'll often crack jokes the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Vampire the Masquerade, isn't it? It's got quite a silly premise because emo vampires, 90s.
It was dark and deep.
But then we took that quite seriously
definitely.
too. But anyway, that's it for what we've been saying. Let's stop fucking about. Let's get on to the main subject. Let's give some 3T RPG awards.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage with their song, the main subject jingle, Core Rulebook.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Main subject. Main subject. Main subject. Main subject.
Wow, thank you,
What a
everybody.
tune.
Core rulebook, everybody.
Core Rulebook, what a tune. What a tune. Anyway, So this is the 3T RPG Awards 2018, and this is our yearly awards for the best and worst RPG-related things, such as products and services that we've experienced this year. And I'm just going to give a quick rundown for how this works. So for each category, each host has nominated one time, and then a winner was decided before we recorded the show by discussion between us. This means that some categories might have had things nominated more than once, because if we both pick the same thing, then it might have two nominations. That's just the way it works. Now, some of the nominees and winners may not have been released this year, but we believe that things shouldn't be exempt from winning awards simply because of when they were released.
That's right.
They were picked based on when we experienced them.
Exactly.
And the last rule is that if you don't like the format, then bugger off.
Yeah.
Piss off.
Now,
do your
in
own
addition
awards.
to that, do your own awards.
What?
Fuck off. But in addition to that, if we couldn't come to a consensus on the one that should win, we argue it out now on the podcast.
on the pod.
Oh, yes.
And that is basically it. So, yeah, best and worst awards. Let's get on with it. The first category is Best Company. And the nominations are Free League, Goodman Games, and Just Insert Imagination. And the winner is Free League. So, yeah, Free League. Guys, we love these guys.
We do, yeah.
I think the reason that we wanted these guys to win was because sometimes you just gotta let a guy win because they make quality shit.
Yeah.
And that's basically it.
And they've been working hard.
Every single product these guys put out, you look at it and you go, I want that. Mm-hmm. And that is it, man.
Yeah.
The artwork that they put in these books is stellar. The writing is top notch and
All the
easy.
books are the same size.
Exactly. Exactly. And the writing is stellar. It's easy. The games are often easy for beginners,
Yeah.
but also great for veterans.
Definitely.
They make games for role players, for hack and slashers. They make games for all types of genres as well. And every single thing they put out is of stellar quality. Would you guys agree?
Absolutely. Except for the Tales of the Loop dice.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
We won't
forget
talk
about
about
the Tales of the Loop
Yeah,
dice
we can look
this
past
year.
that.
Yeah,
We can look past that for once.
Well, all right. But no, yeah, it's cracking. It really is. There's stuff, you know, when there's a new product coming out. I mean, like, even when the new Kickstarter came out about the last instalment of the whole Mutant Year Zero thing, I was like, oh, you know, is it going to be any good? And I read a tiny bit of it. I was like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's just all amazing stuff. And, you know, I love a company that doesn't skimp on quality.
Yes.
And this is one of those types of companies. I mean, Tales from the Loop, Mutant Year Zero, Gen Lab, Mechatron, all of it. You get the quality you expect.
Yeah.
You never like.
Nothing's
You're
cheap.
never disappointed.
No, not at
you
all.
know? And that's why I love this company.
Yeah,
so
me too.
well deserved. Well done, Free League. You absolutely deserve this.
Yeah.
And I can't sing their praises enough because they just do it right.
They do, absolutely. And the next category is Worst Company. And the nominations are Hasbro, Pinnacle Entertainment Group, and Gen Con LLC. And the winner is Pinnacle Entertainment Group Incorporated.
Who else was it going to be?
Who else was it going to be?
Who else? Come on. I mean,
Sorry, not sorry.
the thing about Pinnacle, right, is that we love some of the products they make, right? But they just consistently, they're like the Saturday morning cartoon villain. They just do the stupidest shit. They put a known sex pest in the front of their most recent product. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, mate? And then there was that incident with the Ennies, right, which is another RPG award show, right? And what they did is there was certain Savage Worlds products that were licensees, so they're licensed by Pinnacle, right? And they were nominated for awards. And then Pinnacle did a post on Facebook that was like, hey, shout out to these guys. Woo, these guys, they're licensees. But then they had a guy that was just a fan license, Richard Woolcock, right? And he was nominated. But where was he on the Facebook post?
No, yeah.
Where was he? And then suddenly...
He deserved to win it.
He deserved to win it. And then a bunch of guys reminded Shane, who's, you know, the boss of Pinnacle, they reminded him, oh, by the way, there's this other Savage Worlds guy that was nominated. Why the fuck isn't he on your post? Oh, is it because he isn't a licensee? And then Shane was like, oh, I forgot. Oh, did you, Shane?
all right, mate.
You fucking liar. And then you get, like, other instances where their Kickstarter goals are just a joke. They Pinnacle treats their customers like idiots. They think you aren't going to notice, and that's the thing that like I really dislike about them.
Yeah.
It's like the anything, the crediting Sean Patrick Brannan, the Kickstarter goals. They just think, oh, they won't notice.
We're just a little company.
You see, I think that
Yeah,
most
that's
of
it. That's the
They
excuse.
think they're just a little company.
And you ain't, mate. You're a big fish compared to a lot of the little companies in this game, and you can do better, but you don't.
Your Kickstarters consistently bring in like 500,000. You know, they're big figures.
Yeah, they're big figures in this game, and the thing is, you can do better because Goodman Games, Free League, all of these people that are kind of on your level, they're doing better. And you can, but you don't. And Pinnacle consistently use like cheap ass Chinese fucking glue in their products, and then they fall apart. And it's like, mate, what is wrong with you? You make some great products.
Absolutely.
But why?
Why skimp?
Why skimp?
Yeah,
That's it. And I can't abide by some of their behaviour. But the thing about it is, we talked earlier about Adventure Edition and how improved that is. And what I'm hoping is in 2019 we'll see a new side to them. But in 2018 we didn't see that.
No,
and that's
they
the
might
truth
turn over
about
a
it.
leaf.
Yeah.
My name's Alan Rickman. My name's also Alan Rickman. I'm the real Alan Rickman. No, wait, I'm Alan Rickman. But I'm not. No, wait. No, what? No, I'm Alan Rickman. No, shush, I'm tabletop twat.
And the next category is Best Product. And the nominees are Lamentations of the Flame Princess by James Edward Raggy IV, Saga of the Goblin Horde Countdown Deck by Richard Woolcock, and The American Survival Guide, published by Shield of Faith Studios and written by Reed Sanfilippo. And the winner is The American Survival Guide.
Yes.
Boom.
American.
Yes, American Survival Guide, but that's fine.
American, it's fine. You know, it's, I just because I mispronounced it. Sorry.
You mispronounced
You
it, mate.
mispronounced it, mate.
All right.
What's the lowdown?
Well, it's badass, isn't it?
It is great. It's fantastic. It's so I picked up MCC and this year. I'm very happy I did. It's brilliant. It's to the same tune as MCC. It's perfect. I think it fits perfectly with the style of the original
and
book.
This is insane and written by a madman genius.
Yeah.
Reed Sanfilippo. The American Survival Guide is a post-apocalyptic conversion for DCC. You need DCC to play it, but it's got new rules for armor, new classes like robot, petrol head.
New patrons.
Yeah, new patrons like a big DJ guy, Santa. You can have
yeah.
Some of that stuff is
Santa, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's got like really detailed world and stuff like that. There's a monster manual for it.
The
But
art's
the thing
great.
is, it's post-apocalyptic by way of like Thundar the Barbarian. It's got kind of that kind of a feel to
Yeah,
it, where it's
yeah.
like nutso, like absolutely nutso, and it's exactly the type of stuff that we appreciate because it's crazy and awesome and
Loads of pop culture in there. It's great, isn't
Oh,
it?
totally.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that when you pick this up, it's like this is an indie product, but it looks 10 times better than anything anyone's putting out there, which is why it's in this category. It's up there against like some of the best stuff out there. You know, we put it up against actually they're all indie products
All
on
indie
this list.
products, actually.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how the quality of this. When you see the artwork in this book, you see the layout, the presentation, and the cover, as well as the quality of writing.
Not to mention the price.
And the price, yeah, it's the same price as the DCC rulebook, and it's about the same thickness.
Yeah.
And you're just like, holy crap!
Yeah.
This is so worth the money for the amount that you get in there, the craziness, like the detail of the world and everything in there.
It's
and
brilliant.
The amount of classes that you get, and as well as Nick said, this is compatible with MCC as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're an MCC fan and you want to expand on an already broad book that is MCC, grab this, throw it in there as well, and then you'll just have even more to play with.
Fits perfectly.
It does. It's fantastic.
And one thing I will say is we did a actual play of this. It was kind of a one-shot because it fit into our DCC campaign
Yes.
even. And what we did is we...
Just passing through?
Just passing through episode 8 of Foreign Beggars. Go and listen to that if you want a little demo of how you can work this into a game. I think we can spoil it ever so slightly, but
Yeah,
we
go
had
on.
one of the characters from our DCC campaign go through a portal and end up in this world, and it was epic. We had acid rain. We had
an evil predator that was chasing throughout the whole game.
Yeah,
Mike,
called
oh my
Mike,
god,
and
yeah.
we had these guys go to one of the main cities in the game, the Citadel of Scrap.
Yeah.
They were riding a monorail.
Oh, man,
it was
yeah.
it was epic, and the thing about it is that this game allows for all of that, because you even had one of the races in it, which is a tree person, and you
Yep.
had another guy that was a cyborg as well, and
Yeah.
you met these two people, and
A sentient jukebox.
a sentient jukebox. That I actually used the robot class for that.
So
yeah,
cool.
it had everything, man. And this game, it really, really gives you everything you need to play a whacked out post-apocalyptic Gonzo style game in DCC, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
It is so perfect. I wouldn't change a thing. And the next category is Worst Product, and the nominees are Beneath, Player's Handbook 2.0 by Severed Books and Justin Soroy, Cheap Dungeon by Cheap Dungeon, and Time Zero by Grammel. And the winner is Cheap Dungeon by Cheap Dungeon.
And what is this, huh?
Oh, mate, you're in for a treat here, because this is a soundtrack to put along to gaming. It's a dungeon synth album, but the thing about it is this might be the worst music I've ever heard in my life. Did you listen to this?
Yeah.
There'll be a clip obviously played before this, right? But Christ almighty.
So
James
this
is like,
guy-
it's hurting me.
I messaged these guys and I said, firstly, I don't think I've got chills from music for a long time. But secondly,
Bad chills.
I don't think I've ever got like angry cringe chills ever. Because I was so cringed out by what I was listening to, and also really pissed off as to why they fucking thought that this was good enough to publish or put
You just
out
didn't know
there.
how to feel,
And I
did
was
you?
just
know-
like,
no,
this
you know
is
that
the
it was-
fucking worst.
You know that it was released on a floppy disk as well.
Oh my
And it's
God.
like it's so good. It reminds me of the songs Nick used to make for Songfight.
But worse.
But what?
It is actually worse.
Come on,
it
nothing's
is actually
worse than
worse.
that junk.
No, it is. It
What are you saying?
actually
It's
is.
worse than
Unnamed song.
unnamed song.
God, it's so bad. It's so bad. What I liked was on the Facebook for all the dungeon synth music, how angry people got when they heard this. Somebody said, I just saw somebody post it saying this is pretty funny, and then somebody put immediately underneath it, "Fuck off."
So it cut deep with the community.
Oh,
then.
everyone got really angry. So if you're playing like a game where you're specifically trying to annoy people, put this on in the background. I like the rain sound effects he used, where he just recorded his shower. It's so bad. I don't know if it's intentionally bad, but it definitely is.
Is it not satire then, or?
It might be satire, but it definitely is the worst product. There's no doubt about it. Whether it's intentional or not, he
It
has
wins.
made the worst one.
There you go,
Man,
worthy winner. Well done.
it was
Yeah.
nasty.
Well done, Cheap Dungeon.
Yeah.
So, and the next category is Best Published Adventure.
No, you fucking
Best
idiot.
system.
And the next category is Best System. And the nominees are The Year Zero System by Free League and Modofi. Here we go. Modofi. How the fuck do I say this? And the nominees are The Year Zero System by Free League and Modiphius, Lamentations of the Flame Princess by James Edward Raggy IV, and The Year Zero System by Free League again. So we had two nominations in this category.
Yep.
Which means auto win.
Yeah, the Year Zero system, man. I mean, we sung its praises a fair bit. So this is the system that's used in Mutant Year Zero and Gen Lab, which we've been playing a lot.
Yep.
It's
Oh,
also
man.
there's a lighter version of it used in Tales from the Loop.
Yep.
And I believe a bunch of other games like Coriolis. I think uses an altered version of it.
How easy is it?
This system is super, super easy. The sad fact about it is when you describe it, it sounds hard. When you do it, it's well fucking easy.
Exactly, yep.
But the point is it's quite simple. You add your skills to your attributes, you roll that amount of dice, try to get sixes. That's the simplest
That's all
way
you
I can
need.
put it.
1 6 and it's done.
I don't think I'll go into any more depth than that, but what it allows is a very, very Roleplay centric system, that means that newbies can get what's going on in the game by reading the dice.
Yeah.
And it allows for a lot of freedom to what goes on in the game. So, for example, Nick can look at the dice and go, oh, that's how you failed. Cool, this is what happens. And it doesn't, it's not that the dice narrate the game, but what it is like, what happens is like, it means that it allows Nick to go, okay, cool, here's what happened, very, very easily.
Yeah.
And it allows a new GM or a new player to understand everything very, very easily.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like about it. See, when you roll your skill dice, for example, you fail on your skill dice or an attribute, you go, oh, I failed because I wasn't strong enough.
Yep.
And then that means it's easy, and that gives Nick 1,000 different options as to why you failed. You failed because you hadn't been working out enough. You failed because
your footing slipped. Yeah, you know.
Your footing slipped, or you've been trekking all day and now you're tired, or whatever. And then it creates these really interesting narratives, and we've found it to be a very emotional game and a very tense game and a very cinematic game, and it's nice to have that sometimes.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Not every game has to be like that, but this is one that I think out of all the games we played this year, one that's been a very eye-opening and very fun game.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Man, it's
I would
awesome.
just add to it as well, there are official dice for the system, but we have... it's very easy to... You don't have to use them, basically. What we did was we bought a bunch of cheaper dice that are the same colours, and all we did was we put a little dot on the 1 and a dot on the 6 where they're required, and that's it. Away you go.
Essentially, what it is that certain 6s and 1s are worse than others. So one on a green and a black is worse than others, because blacks are geared dice, and... no, it's a yellow and a black, sorry. But, a yellow is attributes and blacks is gear.
Exactly.
So if this sounds like nonsense, I'm sorry, I'm going to shut up in a minute. But point is...
You don't need them.
Yeah, you don't need them because we just bought generic coloured dice and marked them up with Sharpies. And instead of costing the 20 quid it cost to get them from Modifius, what it cost was, £7.50 from Dice Shop Online, and that was it.
Yeah, and we have a communal bunch of dice on the table, and everyone just picks up their dice and throws away. It's nice.
Yeah, really nice. So these games work perfectly exactly for what they do. They're perfect for survival type games, and that's it. That's what I like about them. They're so well thought out. Now, what my friend Eric said is that once you try to break the boundaries of that, it doesn't work so well. I don't know about that yet, but the point is that that's what it's for.
Yeah,
and it works perfectly.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's why I like it,
and we like it. Yeah, we do.
Yes, awesome. And the next category is Best Published Adventure. And the nominees are The Chained Coffin by Goodman Games and Michael Curtis. Mutant Year Zero GenLab Alpha Escape from Paradise by Thomas Harnston, Peter Bexton, Costa Costoulis and Cabinet Licensing Incorporated. And Cold Warning, published by Golden Goblin Press and written by Scott David Anielowski. And the winner is Cold Warning.
Yes, Cold Warning.
Oh, yes.
Do you know, it was a really tight one for me, because I've got to say I absolutely love Chain Coffin. I think that was one of my favourite adventures of the year.
I really enjoyed that too.
It was so much fun. I just loved the shit we gave the coffin. I just felt really sorry for the coffin in that adventure. I really did. And I
ran that game, that adventure twice as well. Chain Coffin is a DCC adventure where you fucking like cart a bloody talking coffin around a mountain, and it's really good. But
it's very good.
It ain't as good as Cold Warning, which is what do you call it? What's that game with a big tentacle bloke?
Oh, what's his name again? Barry, is it? Is it Barry?
Oh yeah,
Call of Barry.
Call of Barry, yeah. So Call of Cthulhu Cold Warning is a published module that was a Kickstarter that I backed some time ago, and it was from an old manuscript of a game that never got finished by quite a famous writer from the 80s, Scott, and the manuscript was found, and the Kickstarter was to get it published.
Though. It was absolutely awesome, and that's what I think added to the amazingness, was the fact that it was this. Yeah, it was a unpublished manuscript, and then they pieced it all back together.
Put it all back together, yeah,
and then released it. And fucking hell, it's great. Nick did a fantastic job of GMing it for us and a few of our fellow nerds that we had online on Roll20, which, by the way, is an amazing thing to use for Call of Cthulhu.
It is, yeah. So we hadn't. So it was one of our first Patreon games that we've started to put together now for our beloved listeners, and It was the first one we run, and it was the first time I tried Roll20, because we don't really play it as much online as we'd probably like to.
Yeah, we smashed it.
It was great. The Roll20 worked perfectly. Really good for Call of Cthulhu. I'm really glad the guys enjoyed themselves. I was trying to go for quite a atmospheric, creepy game with a little bit of comedy sprinkled over the
What I liked
top.
about this adventure though was that this is proper classic Cthulhu stuff, and the archetypes are they're really, really great. But the thing about it is there's so much originality in what you're facing. Because it's all about... I don't want to spoil what it is, but what I'll say is that it's got a very Native American influence.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
That's something you don't often see in Cthulhu. You just don't, quite simply. It's all like Lovecraft inspired. And although it had a Lovecraft feel, the Native American thing was a really, really nice... twist, because it wasn't too far from the apple tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was nice enough different that it was like, okay, this is really, really nice and refreshing. And it was scary, it was creepy, and all of the characters had these great backstories. And like the one who survived on a ship for 28 hours with no sleep fighting a horde of zombies.
Yeah.
My character's wife had gone completely insane and I had to shoot her in the head or something.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was spectacular, and the ending. Oh my god, the ending. I'm not going to say much. But we had somebody stamp on a baby, and
It was fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
What an adventure! And I think that the artwork and everything makes this one of the best published adventures, not just this year that we played, but for Call of Cthulhu ever.
Oh, wow.
100%.
Oh, wow.
Out of all the ones that I've read, because I read it afterwards.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it was spectacular. Bloody well done to whoever the fuck wrote this. I've lost my place in the list.
It was Scott David Anualowski.
And the next category is Best Artwork. And the nominees are Lamentations of the Flame Princess by James Edward Raggy IV, Beneath the Inverted Church by Justin Saroy, and Mutant Mechatron by Free League. And the winner is Mutant Mechatron by Free League. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed that my one that I nominated didn't win.
Oh, do you know what? You should have given me that present earlier, and I would have been able to look at the art a bit.
That's a good point. But you know what? I just want to give a little bit of a shout out to Jason Rainville and Cynthia Shepherd, who did my favourite pieces of art from Lamentations of the Flame Princess, because that is a very nice book. I just want to say that. And but yeah, let's talk about Mutant Mechatron, motherfuckers, because Jesus Christ, that is some fappable artwork, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. It was awesome.
Oh boy! Is this the third award that we've given to Free League this
Is.
podcast?
Oh my god.
And the thing is, the art for this is done by Danny Dark Mechanic Morrison.
Yeah,
It
we
is.
forgot to mention that. So yeah, Danny Dark Mechanic. Do you reckon he makes some horrible devices in his garage?
Dark mechanic.
He's going making some dark. Oh.
We fixed my car, Danny.
Yeah, Danny, you fixed my car, and now Satan keeps on turning up inside.
And there's a
it.
dildo for the gear stick.
What's going on, Danny? What's going on, Danny? Sort it out.
It's either that or he fixes everything at night time or in pitch black.
And the radio
See,
stuck
that's-
to evil music.
Yes, you turn it on and it's like. Danny, what's going on with my radio?
Danny, what you done?
But there's some great artwork on the side of the car now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's cracking. If you've not seen it, where have you been? Go check out the Mutant Mechatron art. It's brilliant. I mean, the
beautiful.
iconic images of the robot on the front cover holding the human skull, looking at it as if to say, "What is this?"
Like Hamlet style,
Yeah.
yeah, because he don't know. He don't
don't
know. All
know.
the humans have disappeared. Now
Yeah.
he's just got a skull.
Yeah.
The artwork in this book is so spectacular. If you want a good sampling of it, you could go look at the Kickstarter. It's now over, but you can go and look at that and go see a big sampling of the artwork, because this is done. It's got like sort of a good mix of digital painting and comic book style. Is that a good way of putting
absolutely.
it? But it's like if you try to imagine the best comic books you've ever seen, like the best artwork you've ever seen. It's kind of like that with a very modern type feel, probably comparable to something like Why the Last Man, or some of the Hellboy stuff. But yeah, it's very, very, very good.
It is.
Amazing artwork. And,
full colour. It's lovely.
yeah, and then what's cool is the trade dress for the book sort of matches it too. So it really gives it a really nice feel. And it's crazy because you wouldn't think that something like that Why the Last Man type artwork would give it like a dark feel, but it actually does.
It does, yeah,
Because
totally.
it's got this proper like grimness to it, where it looks like if any of the characters were to smile, not that they could, that it would look awkward.
And they
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely. Yeah, it's cracking. Go check it out, please do. Worthy winner, I think.
Totally, man.
They've done
Love
really well
you.
this year. Love you,
Bloody
Free
Love you.
League.
Even though you fucked my car up, Danny. I'm coming for you, Danny.
Danny Dark Mechanic.
Danny Dark Mechanic.
He needs to be a character of the game, doesn't he?
I'm Danny the Dark Mechanic. I'll fix your car, but can't vouch for what'll happen to you.
You want rims? Yeah, full of razor blades.
No, razor blade rims. He's my assistant.
Yeah. Brilliant. And the next category is best setting. And the next category is best setting. And the nominees are Wise Guys by Eric Lamoureux and Just Insert Imagination. Wise Guys by Eric Lamoureux and Just Insert Imagination. And lastly, Mutant Cool Classics by Goodman Games. And the runaway winner is...
Ding, ding, ding.
Wise Guys by Eric Lamoureux and Just Insert Imagination.
Okay, so yes, alright. The thing about it is, yes, this game isn't out yet. But who makes the rules for this?
No, but there's
We do.
There's a free demo kit.
Awards. Yeah, there's a free demo kit, but that ain't the whole setting. It ain't out yet. But but if anybody has a problem with that, send it to my ass at newyork.com. Because I don't give a fuck what you think. Okay, listener? No, I really do.
No, we
we really do.
We
Please,
really,
God,
really
we
do.
need the listens, please.
Please.
Good God.
Please.
But I've played the balls for this setting now. I played in a short campaign. I played with you, Nick, and I've played a one shot, which would be it's up there one of the best games I've ever played in my life.
Yes.
Played this at Con on the Cob with all of these big props that
Oh
Eric
my
came
God,
got
yeah.
out. It was like playing through a Tarantino movie, and that is a game I will never forget.
It was
where,
spectacular.
That boy has been grafting, Mr. Lamoureux, hasn't
oh
he?
my God!
It took him fucking months and months to do that shit, man.
But maybe before that, we should talk about what it actually is.
Oh yeah, that's the point. So there's a bunch of old men, and they're very wise, and
It's a game about wizards. It's wise guys.
and basically they're all
And you
frail.
can't play women because it's guys, all right?
guys, all right.
I said to him, change it to wise people, Eric. It's 2018, but he said no, ain't happening. He said he hates women. And and that's Wise Guys.
That's it.
No, Wise Guys is a gangster setting set mainly in Vegas, and it is amazing, right? And it's basically your gangster toolkit, but it comes with if you look at the demo kit at the moment, it comes with pre-gens, it comes with an adventure, it comes with background, it comes with how the gangster families work, and in this game you got things like so for example you got made men. These are often of Italian descent and things like this. And those will be the guys that can speak to the boss directly. And when you're not a made man, you can be an associate. So you could be anything from a black Elvis impersonator to a roller derby champion. But you live in Vegas and you're an associate. You know the made man, and every time you make money for the gang, you need to kick up money to him.
That's right.
Then he kicks up half to his boss, and it creates this really interesting dynamic. You're a thief, so do you want to hide money from him,
from the boss? Yeah.
And in our game, you know, it ended up with somebody getting money from gambling,
horse race, yeah.
and then making the mistake of telling me,
And stashed it in his video collection.
and it ended up with this massive chase where we're all running up the stairs, piling over each other. Yeah. I ended up pointing a gun at a made man, something you never do.
Oh
He
my
executed me in
God.
front of everyone.
Yeah.
Came in with a new character. I mean, it is just and the cool thing about this is it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's serious, but not too serious.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it is that, yeah, it's like Tarantino movie, little bit of grindhouse in there. Like it's utterly perfect for that type of tone. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough about
No,
this.
absolutely. And for me, the heat mechanic is a fantastic mechanic that adds an extra element of excitement and whatnot to it. It's like a GTA kind of wanted level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in fact, I forgot
really
to speak
cool.
about that.
Yeah.
So, and you can try and scrub off the heat mechanic, but it's essentially if you do anything non-gangster related, like crimes, basically,
Yep.
then you can get heat on you, and now everything you're doing is at a minus because people are aware of you, police
Yep.
are after you,
Yep.
things like this, and it's so good. So it's like you want to be careful about committing crimes that aren't gang related.
Yeah,
It's like-
exactly.
So like there was a point where we killed someone in a bathroom and immediately got 3 heat, and then we had to spend ages cleaning it up. We had to have 2 people on security detail. We had somebody with like cleaning gloves and squeegees like fucking cleaning it up. It was crazy. So murder is like something that needs to be considered in
Yeah,
this game.
absolutely.
You can't be a murder hobo, and that mechanic deals with it. It's like it's so well designed, and
is.
it shows Eric's genius as a writer. And they got Carl Kiesler doing some of the layouts.
Yeah.
The artwork is like off the hook.
Yeah,
If you follow the page, Just Insert Imagination, you'll see some of the incredible work that's gone into this.
Absolutely.
And like James said, he's been grafting.
He really has.
Yeah,
And that's why-
amazing.
Yeah, he's got a little video log of the whole production of it and what he's been through, so check that out. But yeah, cracking. Good work. Labour of love, and I think it's fantastic.
So that's why a game that ain't out can win.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it
exactly.
comes out, it's gonna be fucking sick. Imagine if it came out and it turns out he did change it to be a game about wizards.
We'd look like
Old wizards
egg on
without
our
teeth.
face, wouldn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, old wizards without teeth, and they're wise guys. And he's like, no women in this game. We're like, oh fuck,
Oh,
we
Eric.
nominated this for
Eric,
best game.
don't do that.
I know what they're doing is bickering about who's the wisest one.
I'm the wisest. I know. I know better maths.
So I've read a book.
What? I've read 2 books. What? The fuck you?
So what do you guys think happened?
One of the players Robbie played with got carried away and killed him.
Well, that's kind of far out.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game. Swords, poison, spells, battles, maiming, killing.
Hey, it's all imagination.
Is it?
Yes, definitely.
I'll be talking.
All right, see you later.
Next category being worst setting. And the nominees are Beneath by Justin Soroy and Severed Books, Grandma Weld by David Oakham, and Last Parsec by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. And the winner is Undecided?
Ding, ding, ding.
So,
Dun, dun.
as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, if there was if we couldn't reach a consensus on a particular winner, we're gonna have to argue it out.
We've got to duke it out.
So my nomination was Beneath by Severed Books and Justin Soroy. James's was Grandma Weld by David Oakham, and Nick's was The Last Parsec by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. How we'll do this is I think we'll each have 2 minutes to argue our case. So James, get a timer on your phone going.
Yep.
And then we'll sort of have a little row at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So, James, timer on your phone. I will go first, and we'll go down the list in order.
3, 2, 1, go.
So, Beneath is a sex game written by a person with a child's understanding of how to do adult content. It is where suddenly everyone looks in a mirror and they see rape constantly. Then they go into not a dungeon but an undungeon, because this guy who thinks that he can play role-playing games for 5 minutes, then just come in and write an entire setting, and it has done this. So he not a dungeon but an undungeon because it's upside down. And then you go in and suddenly you start seeing all these mirrors about, and you see sex in them. Oh no, sex! And then suddenly, right, but then you're not the main characters, this other character is, and the setting, literally the entire setting is one fucking town that has the undungeon in it. And then as you're going through, the only notable thing that he did was that to relieve the symptoms of stress, you can have sex with the main character, who's not you, by the way. way. That's the setting we're dealing with here. And then it turns out the big boss of the whole thing is Cupid, because sex. But that's not even what Cupid is, you fucking idiot. And so that's beneath for you, ladies and gentlemen. And he said his big argument to all of this was it gets fixed in the second book. But why would you play this fucking second book if you haven't if the first one was so bad? And let me tell you another thing, right? The whole book, the fact of the matter is that the actual setting itself doesn't even make sense because the maps don't even sync up. They actually don't even sync up. If you put them all together, it geographically doesn't even make sense. It has gods in it that people reference once but have no background. So that some of the characters are so badly fleshed out that they're barely even characters. It doesn't even make sense. It's insane how badly written this game is. He's like the writer of this is like. He's like a 5-year-old has written it. I could throw a pencil down a stairwell and it would make a better setting than this.
And that is time.
Yeah, there we go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, okay, so that's Harrison's point.
Right, so James, you're up next with Grandma World by David Oakham.
Okay, mine won't take 2 minutes, but I'll put the time on now. So my nomination for this isn't because necessarily of the setting itself, but it's my experience of the setting, because this was the piece of shit that got run by that fucking arsehole in Corn on the Cob, who fucking Con on the Cob, who showed us the fucking anus, the inside of an anus, who was trying to be just absolutely disgusting and racist and thought it was really funny, who spent too long trying to put Jenga blocks in a line, and to put little piece of shit. Like, the little miniatures were cool, but for some reason it took him fucking
Was it a
forever.
constant corridor?
No, and the thing was, you know, we've riffed on it already. We've said how bad it is in previous pods. You know, the Wild Die also covered it in great detail because Gary was with us, and so my experience of it, right, is that it was the worst fucking setting that I've been played through. Like, this dude absolutely shits all over it because I've been told that it's actually good, but my experience of it was it's the fucking worst game I've ever been in. So. That's the reason why I nominated it, and I'm sorry for those of you who enjoy it, but it's based on experience. That's the reason.
And for those that don't know, it's a game where you play grannies.
All right.
Well done, James. That was actually pretty good
for them sick bands.
Yeah. All right. Nick next.
Nick next. Nick next.
All right, 3, 2, 1, 2 minutes, start now.
Okay, so the last parsec. If you was to slice this book in half, it would ooze vanilla ice cream everywhere. It's not that it's terrible, it's just bland. I don't really... Yeah, there's just better stuff out there, really, if I'm honest with you, and it's just not, it's very meh. What got me the most, which annoys me immensely, is this particular image right here. The pixelation on this art is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. There's a picture of a spaceship, don't get me wrong, the artwork's okay, but look at the cheapness of it. I mean, it's so pixelated, it's unreal, and it's like, really? You know, we didn't think to sharpen that up a little bit. It's just a bland sci-fi book, and there is much better ones out there. I actually read it, some of it, and sold it. No, or gave it away, I think.
You gave it away as a raffle prize.
Yeah, I did. No, you know, they make good products, Pinnacle. We know they make good stuff, and some of their stuff not so good. And for me, I just honestly think there's better sci-fi games out there. It's very bland, very vanilla.
That's fair enough. All right, I guess you're done.
Yeah, that's me. That's done.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, right now, let's have a little discussion. To be perfectly honest, the last parsec, I do agree with you, because I feel like with the last parsec, it's one of the most bland games. What they've done is they've gone, a sci-fi setting needs to have this, it needs to have this, it needs to have this, check, and it's got no soul.
No,
right?
that's
and
right.
if you read the history of all of the world, it's so boring. It's so boring. It's got no personality whatsoever.
Yeah.
For that reason, I think it could contend as a winner. I don't think Grandma World could. The only reason is because I think that it could have promise, and I can't write it off just yet, because I reckon if we played it, we could actually have a laugh of it.
Well, I'm sure the thing is, right, obviously I read up a bit about it afterwards and all this, and it's like, I don't think, the only reason it deserved the nomination was, again, it was pure experience, and that's the reason why the nomination is there. But the actual premise of it sounds fucking great, and I reckon it could be done so well.
I do have to agree with you though, James, because it was the worst game we've ever played. But the thing about Last Parsec is also that it has no redeeming features in terms of like wow factor. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I'm sure people have had fun with it.
If
but
I can
I
make
think there's just better stuff out there.
One closing argument for Beneath though is. Kind of against my point is that he did make a revised edition fixing some of the issues.
Yeah, but that's because we highlighted the issues.
We highlighted the issues, and he made a response calling us idiots. But then made the fucking he revised it anyway.
Yeah.
So he was like, some idiots can't understand my book. So
they're clearly just what did he call us?
He called us the lowest common denominator, right?
Yeah.
But then he revised it. So. The funny thing I find funny about that was that so you're saying that it's only idiots that can't understand your book, but you are revising it, so we are right
to make it a little bit more clear.
So you're idiots, but you're right. Yes.
So go away.
But fuck you. And it was like, yeah. So he has made a revised edition where the map does now sync up. Apparently, I haven't checked it.
He made a cheat sheet to make some things make sense.
Yeah, because remember,
it didn't make sense.
Originally, the intro made fucking no sense, and then he also put in the intro, "Please God, read both books because it gets better." He actually had to put that in his own book. And it's like fucking hell, man. Yeah. When your book has,
but we're the bad guys.
Yeah, we're the lowest common denominator because we didn't understand his art. It's like fuck off, man.
Well, I'm reshifting my vote, and I'm going for Beneath.
All right, it wins then.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? Yeah, I mean, disclosure, full disclosure. I haven't played the Last Parsec, so
I have.
Yeah,
me and James played it, and we did actually have fun with it. To be fair,
there you go. So I would say that although that is my nomination for because my argument is that I think there's better sci-fi games out there, or things do it, but it's a bit lackluster. It's a bit vanilla. But yeah, I think I'd have to agree with the fact that we had to actually, constructively criticise something, and then someone had to revise a book. Yeah, I'm going with Beneath
this
as well.
This podcast is the reason why version 2.0 came out.
So thank you. He should stick to drawing because he's clearly got a fantastic talent for that.
Oh, his artwork is amazing.
Yes,
that's why we nominated him for it. And his monster manual was fucking great too.
It's brilliant as well, yeah. Okay, so it wins. Well done.
Yep. Next category is Best Gaming Soundtrack. And the Nomonos are... Stop it. Ravenloft, the unofficial soundtrack from the Synth Bard. The Skyrim complete soundtrack by Jeremy Soule. And the Destiny 2 original soundtrack by Michael Salvatore, C. Paul Johnson, Sky Lewin, Rotem Mauve, Peter Schlosser. And the winner is Ravenloft, the unofficial soundtrack by the Synth Bard.
Right, so obviously during this I listened to all of it. We recently listened to the complete soundtrack of Skyrim at mine in a recent session, and then we did Destiny 2 in the last one.
That's why I put it on there.
But in the middle of that, in the middle of all that, I found some quiet time at work, and I listened to the whole album of by the Synth Bard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's got personality, it's got character, and everything in it is just nice. You know what I mean? The Skyrim and the Destiny stuff, they're great, but they're made by massive companies. They're huge, massive corporations. They got amazing sounds. It sounds great. But the Synth Bard is a dungeon synth thing. But the amount
of dude in his room.
Yeah, most likely.
Well,
and it's just so tasteful.
Yeah.
And really well
atmospheric.
done. Yeah, it's really nice. And every single song, every single part of the song, I was just sitting there imagining I could be playing almost any kind of sort of fantasy type game right now, and this is fucking perfect.
And it would work for it.
Yeah.
What I liked about this as well is that he's done a lot of stuff based on Ravenloft, and he did another one that was called like Barovian Movements or some shit like this, right? Nice. And it was just a bunch of piano songs that you can like creepy piano music that you can use while you're playing Ravenloft games. But this one specifically is music to put as you go into each room on the original Ravenloft adventure module.
Right.
And the cool thing is it comes with a booklet to make it look like an old adventure. And in the booklet, well, in the front page is CD1, and in the back page is the second CD for the albums. And it's got like fucking 48 songs in there because there's so many rooms in the old thing, and like it's cool. And then in the book, it describes each room. It's got brand new artwork that he commissioned for certain rooms. It's got like a nice little cover. And each song is just it's spectacular. It goes perfectly well. It's got that gothic vibe to it. But I played this a lot actually during Solomon Kane, because that was the time when
so we have listened to it, of course.
You have heard it, yeah. That's when I bought it. So it's a really great soundtrack, and like I said, it's one of those one-man operations. I don't think something should be omitted from winning simply because it's made by a big corporation. No. But I think that's what gives this particular music character, and that's why I listen to this all the time, and maybe not the Skyrim one.
A deserved winner.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done, Synth Bard. Also, what a name.
Yeah, that is a great
name.
I
just imagine like a guy with like a fucking like cap with a feather in it, and he's just like going.
He's just holding a guitar.
On the keyboard, yeah. Yeah, that's wicked. Well done. Right, so next up. And the next category is shittest Kickstarter stretch goal. And the nominees are 400k Savage Worlds JPEGs by Pinnacle Entertainment Group Incorporated, Flash Gordon bookmarks by Pinnacle Entertainment Group Incorporated, and 20k Judge Dredd RPG live stream by EM Publishing. And the winner is a runaway winner, very deserved, is the 400 Savage Worlds JPEG things.
Yeah.
So what's this?
Why is this?
How much? So it's a stretch goal. How much money?
Just 400,000. $400,000.
Let's explain what it is, okay? So they got up to 400k. They've been announcing Kickstarter stretch goals left, right, and centre. And let's be honest, they've got better. Some of them are pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But this one, they got 400k. They started hitting it, and they got onto Facebook, and they were like, "Hey, look where we are! We got 400k. Thank you to everyone. We're gonna release fucking item cards." Gear cards, vehicle cards for everyone.
Sounds amazing.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds so good for your game.
JPEGs. And let me say something. Let me say something to all of you motherfuckers out there. Something cannot be considered a card if it ain't on card.
So this is like an image.
So let me say this. This is a 400k JPEG. It's not a card. So these are vehicle JPEGs, item JPEGs. All right, that's what it is.
If you ain't got a printer, get out of here.
Right, exactly. So that's my point, right? For the physical players, right, and there's a lot of us.
Yeah, hello.
Hi. Right.
We do exist.
You're up Poopy Creek without a paddle, and it's like, just go and print them off. What if I don't fucking want to print them off? What if I want to get sent the fucking thing? And you just got 400k. You've got 400k, and you're choosing what to give us JPEGs? Fuck you.
The worst thing
is, if it was printed on flimsy paper, I prefer that.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
True. That's true.
It's like the amount of money that they got. They couldn't just throw it at a little extra piece of production for the fucking backers.
They could have a
that
budget.
Are making that stretch goal happen.
Exactly.
That thing come to life.
They could have had a budget meeting, and they could have been like, if we got $100, yeah, we got $100. All right, let's buy a cheap printer, and its sole purpose is to print it out on the cheapest piece of paper, and then we can say we've given them something physical.
Or you know what? Do something else. Maybe just put like a cheat sheet page at the back of the book and say, right, we've got an item cheat sheet at the back of the book now,
and it's in
the
the
book.
book.
People can print it off that page and slam it on the table if they want.
Yeah.
Even that would be better than this, because this is worse than nothing. I mean, it's a joke.
It's just used memory on your computer.
Right, exactly my point. It's really good for the fucking people. I mean, it's useless. It's useless for physical players.
$400,000.
I mean, yeah, you can print it off and cut it out, but I just think it's a waste. It is a waste, honestly, because for me, I'd rather just say, yeah, you got this vehicle right on your sheet. I mean, what's the point in this? What's the point in this? Because it ain't a card that I can hand out to my players, because I have to print it on fucking paper. You might as well just write it on your sheet.
I know what I could have done. I could have bought 5 tablets and then installed it onto each one and given you all a tablet each, and then you would have had the cards, right?
Yeah, I know, but there's going to be like 48, so you need a stack of 48 tablets.
48 tablets.
Oh,
Anyway, Pinnacle, they always manage to knock it out of the park. And I just want to give an honourable mention to the Flash Gordon bookmarks. I know I I mentioned them before.
God.
but
They didn't listen to our last year's one when we went into them on the Deadlands bookmarks about the
Do
advertising.
people actually like these? Do people actually like these?
Tell us if you like them.
Because Pinnacle have absolutely. James has still got
James.
his Flash Gordon bookmark. Because Pinnacle have absolutely no respect for their customers. They don't. I think they do when it comes to their main book, because they've really listened with that. But I feel like when it comes to other stuff, they treat you like a mug. They really do.
Well,
And this just shows
The
it.
thing is, right, this is why they're also nominated for Worst Fucking Company, because their ethos is bullshit. The back of this fucking bookmark is an advertisement for the fucking game that you already own by getting the fucking bookmark.
Yeah, it's like buy the game you've already bought. It's the stupidest thing.
It is. They could have left that blank on that side and just put notes at the top, and it'd be more useful.
The back of the Goodman Games good marks are fucking useful as shit. They're basically
Have
a
a look
miniature
at them.
character sheet. They should just take a leaf out of their
And
book
they're
at least
laminated
do
so
that.
you can dry wipe marker them. It's
Not
great.
only,
You know what
that,
I-
but this is just barely better than paper as well. What this is printed on.
It is, isn't it? It's
At least it's physical.
It's the cheapest. It's the cheapest like type of paper that they could legally call card, isn't it?
Next year it'll be JPEG bookmarks.
yeah, totally. That'd be what it is. And you know what? I would prefer instead of the advertisement if it was just Shane Hensley holding a wad of cash.
Oh, just fanned out. Like all them dollars fanned out with
And
a
him
big
smiling.
grin. Yeah.
with like a prostitute on his lap.
With cheers above the top. Oh, wow. The next category is Best Dice or Dice Set. And the nominees are Hit Location Dice by Q Workshop, DCC Dice by Impact Miniatures for Goodman Games, and last, Custom Nerds International members D6 Dice. And the winner is Hit Location Dice by Q Workshop.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I love these
Yes,
ones.
I absolutely love this dice. So this is a Geez, what is this?
D12. It's just a big D12.
Big old D12, but on every side of this big old D12 is an image of a man, and on each part of this man, depending on what side you roll it on, there is a small explosion to indicate where he has been hit.
I think this is really great because it just allows the DM at the time just to, if you take aim for a specific part of someone during the game, then you will take a penalty unless you take a turn to aim for that point. But if you just go to hit them, then it's fucking great because you can just behind the screen just roll this D12 and then just be like, oh sweet, this happens. Now I can explain it in a cool way because this is giving me the location. It's just like sweet. Well, you've got them right in the fucking torso, and therefore it's like ripped through and there's guts hanging out and stuff like that. So it just allows, I think, just awesome flow and
a bit more randomness.
Yeah, it's great
nice
because it's so different. Because there's 12 spots. It's just great. You're not always just going to sit there and go, it hits him in the leg. It hits him in the leg. It hits him in the leg. Because you can do that by accident sometimes.
I've done it before. I normally go for head, neck, and chest, and I forget about all the other great body parts that can be hit. So it's fantastic.
Great body parts.
And there's some great body parts out there. I will add this one thing. It's a little bit pricey, but I definitely think it's worth it.
But it's a big one.
But it's a big
it's a
one,
large one.
and it's absolutely worth it. It's a large one. What was you going to say?
I was just going to say, some of my favourite body parts, but I'll leave that for now. We'll maybe do that as like a bonus
We'll do that as a bonus. But no, if you haven't, so it's definitely worthy of every GM's toolkit, I would say. It's a great dice. It comes in 3 colours, which is nice. You can get it in white, black, or blue, I believe. It's about £5, and it's an oversized D12. It's fantastic. Go check it out. Well done, Q Workshop, because some of your dice ain't so good, but this one is good.
Savage!
And the next category is Worst Dice or Dice Set. And the nominees are Deadlands Reloaded set by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Digital D6 by I Don't Know. And Chessex Frosted Clear and Black Dice. And the winner is this digital D6. Now, I just need to explain what it is and how it came about into my possession, because it was an amazing thought. A dear friend of mine who doesn't live in this country happened across it in a store and thought, oh, James would like this. And so they decided to purchase it for me. And what it is...
Get it down here.
What it is...
Guest appearance.
It's like it's a plastic frame of a D6 with a kind of gyroscopic bit in the middle that twists and turns, and then it has dots on it that will light up randomly to indicate the side of the dice. But it just so happens that the first and only session that I've used it, and we were playing Savage Worlds, I was using it
James, why are you talking like a news reporter?
Because I am.
Done it now.
So basically, yeah, the big thing about this dice, and the reason it's getting nominated, and the reason we're fucking it in the bin, is because it never fucking rolls sixes
Ever.
And what happened was, I blame this fucking dice for the reason that we died in Savage Fallout, because we all we needed, right? James was the last one alive, and all we needed was a couple of good rolls from him, and it was like constantly 2, 3, 4, or whatever, like really low shit, and it was just like the probability on this dice, the computers, the wires inside this fucking digital dice are fucked up, right? Because it was constantly just rolling low numbers, and it was so annoying. And I was like, and we kept on saying, like, throughout the game, we're like, James, change the dice, change the dice. And he was like, no, I'm using it for one session. I promised Luke I would, or whatever. And we were just like, change the dice, man. And then it was like, he's like, no, it's going to come up as 6 now. It's going to come up as 6. I've rolled it like 50 times now, and it was like 2, 1.
3.
Dude. And it was just like, what? This thing sucks. And it was just like, oh no. And so yeah, and then we ended up dying kind of pretty. It was, do you reckon it was as a result of this, James?
Well, it definitely contributed.
It's the death dice.
It was a high contributor. Yeah, man. It's so sad because it's a cool looking thing, but if you want to die, buy one of these. And we don't even know where it came from.
No,
so
don't know who made it.
It came from America someplace.
Might come from another
Helen
planet.
saw it and bought it for me.
So yeah. Digital D6 by Unknown. And the next category is Best Damn Goblin Game 2018. And the nominations are Saga of the Goblin Horde by Zadmar Games and Richard Woolcock, Saga of the Goblin Horde, and Saga of the Goblin Horde. See, I don't want to see anyone kissing goblins. I don't want to see it going into a goblin's lair. Maybe he's marrying a goblin. But the winner is Saga of the Goblin Horde. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah!
Richard.
So, yeah, of course it was going to win. It was
So he's
always
had 2
going to win.
awards this year.
Yeah, he's had 2 awards. He won an Emmy and he won a 3T award. So the thing about it is
second year running.
Second year running, and we won't dwell too much on this, but this is a game where you play as goblin bosses in Savage Worlds, and you have your own goblin flunkies or cronies or whatever you want to call them. If you take damage, you can put these guys in the way, and that's the brilliant thing about it. And he creates the most whacked out, crazy adventures. Steal an egg from a dragon. Yeah,
Yeah,
you like the sound of that? Well, play this bloody game then.
Yep.
He's got holiday themed adventures for Christmas, Halloween, all sorts of stuff. It is it's so much fun, and the good thing about this, as we said last year, is that if you want to play a game where you want to let loose, act crazy, do all sorts of stuff, then this is the game for you. It's awesome,
and it's all age appropriate.
It is. Because you could play a messed up game with your friends where you get drunk and do some
terrible
weird
things.
Stuff.
Yeah, or you can play it with kids where you're playing a silly fun time game.
Yep.
Where you just play the baddies. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, that's it.
So yeah, that's Saga of the Goblin Horde. Everyone, it's one of the perfect role playing games because anyone can play it and have a good time.
I'm sure everyone's checked it out by now, but if you haven't, go check it out.
Yeah, it's written for Savage Worlds. He's got loads and loads of extra stuff like countdown decks and loads of little add-ons and stuff.
Yeah.
Not only that, but he's created a Swift D12 system for it as well, so it doesn't necessarily have to be run in Savage Worlds.
I think that might be coming soon though. But any case, take a look out for it. But yeah, this is an amazing game. Truly amazing
really
game.
is.
And That's why we all nominated it.
Yep,
'Cause
hands
there
down
ain't-
winner.
Ain't another Goblin game that comes close. I mean, that was another thing, right? That was another thing that pissed me off about D&D 5e. When we were playing it, right? Fucking the DM, right? Who is a great guy, cracking bloke, amazing DM. He kept on saying to me, he was like, "Oh yeah, once a year, and you New Year, we all get pissed and we play goblins in 5e." And one of the things you can do is, as a goblin, you can actually put other goblins. If there's any goblins nearby that are lesser than you can put them in front of an attack. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Did they copy? I want to know which one came first. Because if they copied, and second of all, I was like, oh, so this like sort of way slower, way worse system can do it sort of worse than Savage Worlds. So yeah, oh yeah, that sounds great, yeah. And I said, oh, you'd really like Saga of the Goblin Horde, and I sent it to him, and he didn't fucking look at it.
What?
Of course he fucking didn't.
Because it ain't
fucking look at it,
ain't
Anthony.
got D&D written on it.
Look at it, Anthony. No, but he actually likes Savage Worlds, so he should look at it.
He needs to look at it.
It's better than the one he's currently playing. I can guarantee him that, because combat doesn't take 5 fucking hours. Right, anyway.
Well done, Richard, as always.
Well done, well done.
Okay, and the next category is Industry Rad Dude of the Year. And the nominations are Andy Hopp, Paris Conte, and Eric Lamoureux. And the winner is Paris Conte. Oh, man.
He's the man that needs no introduction.
No.
Except he does. Paris Conte is a man from Australia who does the Applied Role-Playing Game program. And this basically is a program that he's set up where he uses role-playing games to teach adults and children with learning disabilities such as autism and Asperger's and things like this, social skills via the use of role-playing games. Mm-hmm. And I can't really do it justice talking about it. So what I'm going to do is, there was an episode of the Wild Die podcast, which is another podcast that I'm on, where we kind of interviewed him and went through how he uses the program to do this, and he explains it much better than I ever could, because I'm thick and he is a very clever man. So I'll put a link in the description to this podcast to go and listen to this other podcast, to go and check out what Paris Conte does, because it is utterly incredible, and I can't say how much I admire this bloke.
He's a modern day saint.
Well done, Paris.
He's fantastic. Fantastic work. What a guy. What a big heart. What a good guy.
Yeah, so look him up, and if there's a way of donating to that, then do. And if you can't donate, then just share it or something like that.
Right, and the next category is Best Actual Play Podcast. And the nominations are Sound Like Crows, Film Reroll, and The Notorious RPG. And the winner is Film Reroll.
Oh yeah!
Oh,
so
yes.
this has got a bunch of people in it. I'm just going to read their names real quick. We got Paolo Quiros, we got Peter Straight, John Miller, Jocelyn Vammer, Scott Aiello, Andy Hoover. So this podcast is a GURPS podcast where they take films. And the good thing about this is the roles determine what happens, so it can change what happens in the films. And they play through famous films. I believe they've just done Terminator. Am I right?
Jurassic Park, Bill and Ted, all of it.
Frozen,
which is actually very good.
Well,
that's my favourite one.
Yeah,
the first episode is Back to the Future 2.
Back to the Future.
It's great.
It's brilliant. There's great chemistry. The guys and girls on there are fantastic.
Oh, they're so funny, and you know what? Like, some of the stuff that happens is great. Like in the Bill and Ted one, he even put in like a system for dialing the different times and stuff like this.
Yeah. We did the same with the Back to the Future 2.
Yeah,
and he put in
paradox.
Yeah, he even built a paradox mechanic in it, which was fucking great, and it unfolds amazingly. You know, what I enjoy about this is the fact that it's almost unabridged. So it's them sitting around the table and then they're just playing through it and stuff, and all the discussions and little giggles that they have is all included. But I think that's what makes it like awesome, because you hear them personalities and them having a laugh about it. Because the idea is, you know, the film. Yeah. It's just funny because they're riffing on it and they're laughing about, oh my god, this is nowhere near the film that.
Yeah, and that's what's great. I think, because everybody knows. Well, you know, most people know popular films.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because it's like, usually that's kind of stuff during an actual play. No offense to any actual play makers listening, is fucking unbearable. Like, it goes on for like 4 hours, and you're like, you've just hit record at your game because you think your game is so great. But the thing about this is like, they've made a product that's entertaining because they're actually riffing on the movie. They're talking about it. It's half podcast, half actual play. Yeah, and it's so funny. Like, there's a bit during the Frozen episode where they where he keeps on making like utterly ridiculous things happen, like somebody using somebody else as a sled and things like this. And then one of them just keeps on. The GM at the time, he just goes, Disney rules. And then one was like, you can't just keep saying Disney rules and then for anything you want happening. And it's just like, it's like the things like that. It's like, that's why I say it's half podcast, half actual play. They've made something entertaining. They come up with a decent idea. They didn't just go, our games are great, let's just stick a microphone in the room because anyone would listen to. No, that never works. It's never worked in the history of actual plays ever. So don't do that. This is the poster child of why this works. Why having a format works, and they've done it, and they have just stuck a microphone on, almost unabridged it, and it's still fucking great to listen to. That's why it's good.
I also love the fact that, just like I said, that he built the paradox mechanic into it. You know, effort goes into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But the flow is fantastic. Like, it gets written into it that means, right, now I can cater for any eventuality, and they just make sure that works, because then it just means that it's going to work in GURPS. You can just suddenly just go to fuck on it, and then it's just like, sweet, well, it's gonna be okay ish.
Did you listen to the Friday the 13th one?
I've not heard that one yet.
That one was really awesome because he didn't tell them that it was Friday the 13th. He just told them that it's one where they're gonna play teenagers, and that's it. Right. And so they didn't know that they were about to be murdered.
What's up, bitch?
So that was awesome.
Go check it out. It's a very good podcast.
Yeah, it's well good, man. Really, really good. So everyone check that one out.
Yep.
And now, for the most prestigious and amazing award of the year. The one award that we give to the most prestigious and amazing award of the year. The
highest accolade.
The Industry Cunt of the Year Award
2018.
The nominees are Sean Patrick Fannin.
Sean Patrick Fannin. And Sean Patrick Fannin.
And the winner is Sean Patrick Fannin. This guy, he really, really deserves this one this year. I mean, let's rewind back to May, right? EN World puts out an article accusing Sean Patrick Fannin of going around cons and doing some pretty heinous stuff, right? So he's going, apparently, according to the article, supposedly, allegedly, he's going up to women, stroking their hair and going, imagine that. If you've seen a picture of Sean Patrick Fannin, imagine that fucking grease ball coming up to you, fucking stroking your hair and going, And he's apparently going into a restaurant afterwards, looking down some girl's top and going, oh, I like the view from up here. Stroking her hair without her permission, right? Then he sends sex pictures. He sends pictures of himself having sex with his wife. And let me tell you, that's not something that nobody wants to see. You don't want unsolicited pictures of people having sex sent to you. And he does that. He's allegedly sending them out, right, to people. And it ain't just one person that comes forward. Oh, no, it ain't just one person. And this all happens. And let's rewind even further. Apparently, he tells somebody at a con that he wants them to die simply because they had a disagreement. He also tells somebody else that he's going to make sure they never work in this industry again, like he's some sort of 1920s, 1930s fucking filmmaker. What the fuck is wrong with you?
We're bouncing out of this town.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, so the accusations, right? Look, I mean, a lot of people have said not to speak about this because who can you believe? Well, I'll tell you who I believe. Fast forward a couple of months later, and here we go. Sean Patrick Fannin admits the whole fucking thing, so I believe him. That's who I believe. He admits the whole thing, but what does he say? He says, look, I'm deeply sorry for my actions. I've created spaces in which people feel uncomfortable, and I'm very sorry about that. But you lot are bullying me, and you're being mean, and you shouldn't do that, and it's like, so you're sorry, but you're only really sorry that you got caught and that people are being hurting your feelings. So, I mean, you're an arsehole.
That's a big sorry, not sorry, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. Then he makes another video saying, look, a lot of people are challenging hate energy towards me, and we should channel that towards the real issue. And it's like, And that the real issue is that women are being harassed, and it's like, well, by you, you asshole. You admitted you done it. You are the real issue. You admitted you did it. You are the real issue. If people are channeling their upsetness towards you.
Well, look, can you blame them?
Yeah, exactly. And not only this, but the reason people are upset, they're not bullying you. They're not unjustified in being upset. You were people's hero, okay? For better or worse, I don't know why, but people looked up to you, Sean, and people were, and I know you're listening because one of your little sad cronies is going to point them towards this podcast. And the fact of the matter is that people were upset because they liked your writing. But the point about it is that people liked what you did, and they were upset that someone that they liked did something horrible, and they were upset about that. And you should just understand that and understand where they're coming from. And instead, what you did is you lashed out back at them and said, stop bullying me. You channeled the hate towards that. And then you still claimed that you were part of the SJW movement. And how can you do that when you are the enemy? You are the specific enemy. You are the thing that they tried to fight. And so to all the good people that are part of the SJW movement, this guy is not on your side. He specifically isn't, and I'm really sorry for getting political, but this person is not. He can barely be considered a person because he's not sorry for anything he did, and he doesn't care about the same things you care about. The only reason he wants to be in a position of power and be at the top of that pedestal is because it benefits his career to have followers. That's it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
and that's the rant.
Winner!
And that's why he wins.
So well done.
And that's it for the awards.
What a great ceremony.
Yeah, so well done to all the winners and losers this time.
Pop the bubbly.
It's been an amazing ceremony this year. I've really, really enjoyed it. And I want to say a big congratulations to Free League, runaway winners this time.
They were, weren't they? Yeah.
Well, how many did they win? 50, 60?
Oh, God knows.
About 70, 80.
Can't even tell at this point. There's so many awards on the floor here. It's like
it's an absolute mess here.
We better get
In the future, you will be able to send a letter from anywhere on the planet. This is the future. This is the Electro Letter.
So this is Electro Letters, where we read your mail from around the world, and this time we ask you for your best and worst gaming memories of the year. And first off, we'll start off with Daniel Irwin. He comes in, he says his best memory was Savage Con, which was a con that we organised.
Yeah.
All about Savage Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not completely down on Pinnacle. We do like what they do. We do like their games. But anyway, he says, in particular, listening to Richard Woolcock's interlude from Punted in the Bonds, which is a Cockney adventure that I made. And he says, about losing his trousers, then going into a nightclub in his underwear. Plus, Nick Lamley and his characters being off the wall.
Oh,
so that was his best one this year. And I seem to recall in that game, you guys, the characters were in the pub playing darts, and somebody failed so miserably that a dart went out the window and hit somebody.
They killed someone outside.
You also killed somebody, and then put the dead body into a kebab van or something like this.
Oh yeah. We sold the body. We sold the dead bodies as kebab meat. It was great. It was terrible, but it was fantastic.
And he says his worst memory is not being able to play more, and then he does a reference to our actual play series Ravenlord.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously our patrons can become characters in that series, and his character in that series told a terrible joke about a clown and a little girl going into the woods. So yeah.
Nice one.
Well done.
Okay, so the next one in is from John Steve, and he says his best memory is MaceCon, DM Scotty's ICRPG, Ron McClung's Savage Worlds Flash Gordon. So there's obviously some games he played.
But yeah, but that's going to mean nothing to anybody. So thanks for that.
It's good shout outs, I suppose.
Yeah. So thanks for that, John Steve. For those,
it was a good game.
Yeah, I hope they were good. I mean, what the fuck can we do with that? I mean, really, John.
And John's worst memory is unable to get a Marvel Avengers one-shot off the ground 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Must have been really heavy.
Yeah,
very good.
Well
done. Thank you, John.
And Eric Lamoureux comes in, he said, best con on the cob. And that was a convention that we attended this year, James.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
We got to meet Eric Lamoureux in the flesh.
Is he as godly as he seems?
No.
Man, he's like...
Nah, he's all right.
He's okay.
And he says, and
he's
Saga
great.
of the Goblin Horde winning an Emmy Award.
Oh, yes.
So, as we mentioned earlier, it got nominated, and then finally Pinnacle decided to post it after everyone haranguing
Finally
him.
acknowledged it. Yeah.
And it won, what was it, Best Free Game?
Best free game,
Best
mate.
free game.
Yeah.
It got Silver Emmy Award for
Yeah.
that. So, and that was fucking amazing.
Very
yeah,
well
I was
deserved.
so chuffed when that happened.
Me too. We was made up for him, weren't we?
And worst was his Mutant Year Zero campaign. He said it was shit. He really didn't like that. He hated the system. We actually won best system for us, so I couldn't disagree more, Eric.
I mean,
he said it was a campaign that he ran. So
Yeah.
maybe it was his campaign was shit.
I don't know. I mean, it's the Mutant game, the first game, so I don't know. Not really touched on that too much. We've played Gen Lab and obviously the
he
others,
said that like getting your sort of like I forget what you call it, but you have your like hub in Mutant Year Zero.
Oh yeah, it's your arc,
and you build it up and all of that. He said it was great and the system worked well for like doing stuff, but as soon as you tried to go outside of doing the normal stuff that the game allows you to do, it falls apart.
Yeah.
But I don't know about that because we've done some quite unorthodox stuff in the game so far, and we're really enjoying it. So I guess it's just it wasn't to his taste, but I fucking love it.
I mean,
so.
we're well off the beaten track of the book at the moment. But then I needed to add some of my own bits.
And the next one comes in from Torre B. Peterson, and his best memory was wrapping up the ongoing story arc in their Rippers Resurrected campaign in a satisfactory manner.
I like that his best one was just a satisfactory manner.
Yeah, I like that.
It wasn't.
It was his normal stuff.
It's like normally it's horrible.
So unsatisfactory.
At the end of the campaign, everyone just went, "That was satisfactory," and then just
all
left.
nodded and left.
And he says that his worst memory was starting up a new sci-fi campaign and realising how badly and sloppily the setting is written and how much extra work he has to do to make it work. Was that last Parsec?
That was definitely last
Low
Parsec.
blow.
Yeah, he bought that and was like, "I need to do a lot of work to this."
Yeah, to make it better. Bless you.
And then Tony Asmodeus Fanning comes in. He says, "Best Con on the Cob." I couldn't agree more. See, we went to that, right? And obviously we nominated Andy Hopp for Rad Dude of the Year.
Yeah.
And that con is so well organised. We did a whole podcast on it. Go and listen to that because it's a fucking great con. And he said his worst one was Pathfinder playtest. It's a hot mess that you actually get to pay to experience if you fall for it. Thankfully, I did not.
Well, we did.
Well, we did fall for it, but the thing is, I got it as a birthday gift from my mum, and I actually liked the look of it. I haven't played it yet, but the thing is that it's got a couple of the changes from Starfinder in there. It's got a few new things that I quite like the look of. There was
And
a few.
Pathfinder's quite close to your heart, you two.
Yeah, it is, but I've gone off the original edition a fuckload. It's just rules for everything, you know. And nowadays we prefer the rulings, not rules type of D20 games. So. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll try to experience it. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people don't like it, man.
Yeah. It kind of made me upset knowing this because, like I said, it's so close to my heart. And I was just like, oh, man.
Funny thing is that Dan Cookie comes in with the best one to wrap everyone's emails up.
Oh, yes.
Oh, here we go.
Dan Cook says, the best memory of the year, discovering the tabletop twats.
Hey,
Thank you so much,
that's
mate.
so nice of you.
A worst memory of the year, having to actually listen to the twats.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
You know what, Dan? Sometimes you just hurt my feelings.
My heart is shattered, Dan.
Dan?
You bring us up and then you knock us down.
You so expertly. Why, Dan?
Why, Dan? No. Dan, no! Didn't I hold you enough as a child?
So, guys... What, he's your son?
Yeah.
So, what were your best and worst memories of this year? For me, I've got to say, Con on the Cob was a highlight. Savage Con happened this year too. I can't believe how much has happened this year. The Christmas party was fucking amazing. We had Pete Meet this year, didn't we?
Pete Meet, yeah. Mine personally was running a game at a convention that was actually liked, which was a massive deal for me. I had so much fun.
Loved.
Yeah, I know. It was like, just being part of it and helping to organise it was fantastic and so much fun to do. And to actually run something for people and them appreciate it, it was, for me, stand out. It was absolutely brilliant. And probably my worst experience was probably Chimneygate.
Chimneygate.
The awkwardness at my table was palliable.
Yeah, I mean that was crazy,
palpable,
but it was really funny, and I have to say that's going to go down in history as one of the funniest moments ever. It was so funny, and the way Ryan he got mad and then instantly realised how silly he was being, and we went back to the game, and he was quite clearly trying to wind us up. Anyway, the fact is that Savage Gone and Con on the Cob. What I found quite amazing about both of those things is I got to meet some of my heroes, and I would never ever say this to their faces. But Richard Woolcock is literally a game design hero of mine. I absolutely love what he does. And the fact that I got to meet him, and I forgot to bring my fucking book for him to sign. Oh. But that really was a milestone for me. I got to meet Eric Lamoureux, another hero of mine. That was it was something else. And it was utterly amazing. Worst memory for me? It's the Grandma World game that I played.
No way!
I can't. That was the worst game I have ever played.
It's like
in
a dirty
my life.
taste in your mouth. You can't get out.
Oh no, exactly. The fact that somebody showed me an anus on his phone during the game.
Spent ages trying to find it and connect to the fucking Wi-Fi to get it. It's like, is it this important? Is it this important in our head? And then he brings it out and it's like, no, it fucking isn't.
Because the hotel Wi-Fi was so difficult to connect to at times, and he was like, "Is this really that important?" He's like, "You're down in the bowels of the cave, man," and then he's like, "This is what it looks like," and you're like, "Oh, all right."
Oh, I see.
We laughed just out of.
It was like,
it was like nervous. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah, man, that was horrible. James, what about you, man? Best memory of the year?
So my best of the year is a byproduct of Con on the Cob, and that was meeting all the nerds. You guys are awesome. You're amazing. I fucking got so much love for you guys, and you're just like the best. Fucking best.
It's all the people that are on the same network as us. So yeah, big shout out to the RPG Brewery, to Finding the Narrative podcast,
Faults of a Barbarian.
Yeah, Imaginary Ramblings. All of those guys, great podcasts. Go and listen to them. Not as good as this one, let's be honest, but they do the job.
Shots fired.
If you want,
come at me, bro. And my worst, Grandma World. That fucking shit game, piece of cunt.
Well, I'm so glad I dodged that game like a fucking bullet.
You dodged the whole convention.
Yeah, true. Well, next year, I'm coming next year.
If I'm being honest, it was a great memory, but yeah, bloody hell, it was so bad. So yeah, that's it. It's been a whirlwind of a year, absolutely great. And with that, we're going to go on to our outro. Award winning.
Yeah, we had one left over on the table back there, so we're going to give ourselves an award as well. So that's twice winning now.
Yep.
The outro. Yep.
It ran. Do 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 do. Ooh, it do do it ran. We gonna do. We gonna do. Do 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 do. We ran.
Alright, so this time for the outro, I'm not going to give any contact info, I'll just put that all in the description, because this time I just want to say a big thank you to quite a few people here. So first of all, I want to say thanks to the DCC community for being amazing, for showing support to our actual plays. That's the Foreign Beggars and Raven Lord. Those wouldn't be quite as supported as they are if it wasn't for you guys. You are absolutely amazing. Next up, I want to thank the Wild Die podcast for having me on as a permanent host and for being really supportive. And just for being amazing. It's great to talk about Savage Worlds every week, because every other week I should say, because I love doing that.
Yeah.
A couple of specific shout outs. I just wanted to thank these are to guests that have been on the show. Owen Lean, awesome dude. Peter Beckett, Sean Hunt, Ryan Field. You guys were really, really awesome to have on.
Thank you.
And last of all, let's talk about the patrons. You guys work hard to earn your money and deem it our show important enough in your lives to donate money to, and that means so much to us.
It's great. I mean, we don't know why you come to that conclusion, but we really do appreciate it.
It's pity, isn't it?
It is actually.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the pity.
whatever reason. You have no idea how much it means really to us. It really is special, and whether it's pity, whether it's mental illness. It doesn't matter.
We don't judge.
We don't judge. And we've received a few donations from people, and whether you've donated for a small amount of time or you've continued to donate, then
they don't matter. Donations.
We're all so grateful and thankful for every single last one of you, past and present.
Yeah, and you're part of this. You're part of this family now.
Yeah, you certainly are.
And you can't escape.
No, yeah, we'll find you.
We'll find you. We'll get you. We'll get you. We'll get you.
And a little reminder that obviously we always recycle the patron money. It always goes straight back into a podcast. This is non-profit. We just love doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to say one final huge thank you to Just Insert Imagination for giving me the amazing opportunity to get involved with you guys and actually help write something with Harrison. For me, unbelievably amazing opportunity, and I'm so grateful for that.
And so, to play out the show, I've made a little song thanking all the patrons for the cash.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the money.
Right, let me just... did I park my Ferrari out the front or the back? I can't remember.
I don't know. Is it next to my Porsche?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, we love you, yo. Not in that way, just like a bro. So thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, we love you, yo. Without that shit, there'd be no show. Ariel Badger release. Apollo Hogan, Carson Carroll, Conrad Erasmus Neubert, Daniel Irwin, Daryl Cartier, Dominic Bowers Mason, Douglas Sondheim, Eric Jones, Frank Turfler Jr., Jake, James Bonnet, Jason Abden, Jason Connolly, Jason Duncan, Jay Raz, Justin Kays, Keith Nelson, Luke Enyard, Michael Woosley, Manuel Sams, fucking good names. Thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, we love you, yo. Not in that way, just like a bro. So thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, we love you, yo. Without that shit, there'd be no show. Marzio Muscadere, Matthew Imaginary Truth Jones. Man, those are some long names. Morgan Ellis, Murder Herber Show, Owen Lee and Peter Beckett, Pure Mongrel, Ryan Reeves, Sean Richer, Stumpy, Terry Hansen, Digital Dungeon Master, Tim White, Eric Lamoureux, Todd Chamberbury, Tony Fanning, Trevor Hurst, Zachary Jenkins. Thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, we love you, yo. Not in that way, just like a bro. So thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, thanks for the dough, we love you, yo. Without that shit, there'd be no show. Fuck, I fucking forgot Zoviad, last name on the fucking list, because it begins with a Z, so it's like it was all in alphabetical order, if you couldn't tell. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Thanks everyone. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic Christmas.
Christmas.
Have a fantastic
You fucked up the ending.
Oh my god.
Well, that's it. Bye.
Bye.
Jingle wanks.